Hi, I'm Jerry Meints.
And I'm Deborah Meints, and welcome to It's a Family Affair.
Hi, Deb.
Hey.
Yeah, we're back again. And you know, the topic for today is called magic mirroring.
Yes,
and
is this a psychological term, Jerry?
Well, not really. And it's not mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. We did that last week when we did the narcissism show, okay? This is about mirroring. Some people call it reflective listening, other people call it active listening. It's really all about listening to our mate in a way that really lets them feel heard.
Yes.
And you know what? It's so powerful because we teach as, family therapists, marriage counselors that, 90% of most problems in relationships boil right down to communication. Mm-hmm. And so often people think of communication as just talking. Mm-hmm. Well, mirroring, magic mirroring, is the other side of the communications coin. We've got talking and we've got listening.
In fact, this
mirroring.
is great for parents too, because if you're raising teenagers or young adults, as they get older, they want to be listened to, not lectured. And I know with our son, when I want him to call home, I say, Zach, call me, I want to listen to you.
Okay.
And it's made all the difference. When
Yeah.
he hears the word, I want to listen to you, he's more inclined to return that call.
You mean when I tell him, Zach, I want you to call home because I want to tell you what to do? Is that why he's not calling?
I want to lecture you and give you the 50 questions under
That's
the white
right.
light.
That's right.
So
All
magic
right.
mirroring is listening as if you are the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So you are listening like a friend.
Yeah, in an active way in which, you mirror back to your partner not just the content of what they said. The idea is not to parrot, but the idea is to mirror back the emotions, because when you mirror emotions, your mate feels really listened to, feels really connected with you.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. We talk about John Gray, Venus and Mars, and that whole scene. John,
You're gonna
I'm gonna
rag
nail
on
John
him
here.
again. I
That's
mean,
right.
what did he ever do to you,
John's
Jerry?
making $1 billion telling men in particular that they don't know how to listen to women. Mm-hmm. However, he doesn't do a very good job of teaching men how to do it. He just tells them, you're from Mars and you don't understand these women from Venus.
Maybe he's just waiting for Jerry Meints to teach him.
Well, you know what? Actually, Jerry and Deborah Meints are going to teach him today. And
All right.
Tune in, gals, because this is your opportunity to tape this show, because if you're not feeling listened to by your husband, set him down, get him some popcorn and a big Coke and have him watch this program, okay? Because we're going to teach men how to do it. Okay.
And women.
Yeah, true.
Because men, as far as emotional intelligence go, tend to have good rational ability. Mm-hmm. That means they can think things through in a logical way. But sometimes I have a very difficult time naming the emotional undercurrents in what someone's saying. Mm-hmm. So if a woman says, I want to talk to you, I'm having a hard time and I want to talk about our relationship, the man may be going, oh, not that talk again.
Oh,
exit stage left. I mean,
Yeah.
the men here like, I want to talk. A lot of times it's exit stage left, and you add that tagline about our relationship,
Right.
exit stage right.
Or if the wife makes the mistake of saying, we need to talk. It's like, I'm gone. Okay.
Time for punishment.
Right to the garage. I've got a project I really have to work on, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be
Anything
right
but
back.
you.
Yeah.
Or are you
it's true.
working on me?
Well, it is interesting, and it is also true because men are traditionally more thinking than feeling, that men have lower EQ, and this hampers...
Emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
That's what EQ stands for, emotional quotient.
Thank you for that definition and clarification,
Usually that's
Deborah.
what your role is. Now I'm being
That's true. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. You're showing, you're demonstrating good IQ.
my masculine side.
Okay, cool. Okay. And I'll try to be more feminine and more feeling today.
The guys in the back are just having a field day
There'll
with
be
that.
no cross-dressing on this show, however. Okay, right, okay. All right,
I'll leave that alone.
so the cool thing about men getting in touch with their feeling side is that this is the side of them that women appreciate most. Women feel more connected with their mate.
It's why I've been married to you for 23 years.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. I mean, on a personal level.
I thought it was because I trapped you in the house and wouldn't let you out. Okay, right.
That too. That worked.
Okay, right.
High walls.
That's right.
Spikes on the top.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, one of the things I really liked about you is you got me.
What did you mean by that? Okay.
I don't think we're going to get
certainly
this
did.
show very well.
Okay.
But on an emotional level, when I first met you, I felt like we were singing the same song. And you know what? The word conversation means singing the same song. It's verse, conversation, con meaning with, like chili con carne. With. So when I would say something like, you know, I just feel so alone in the world, being an intuitive feeler. If you've watched that show, you know what I'm saying. I do feel alone in the world sometimes because I think, you know, about the big questions of life. Like, why are we here? Why do we live? And why do we die? And what are people doing? Why are we all rushing around so much? What's the meaning of it all? Jerry would say things like, I know just how you feel, or that must feel really lonely. Mm-hmm. And it felt like you were walking with me.
Right.
So we had our famous 3-day conversation when we met, where I felt like and I still do, so much of the time, feel like I'm being listened to by my best friend, who isn't just listening because he's being a good boy, you know, but he's listening because he knows he's going to get some value out of the shared experience.
True, very true.
And that felt really cool to me. Now, I don't want people out in TV land, because I know some of you think Jerry and I are just like, oh, we always get along. We don't.
I really resent that couple. They're too happy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then want to take us down.
Trust me, we fight.
We fight. I mean, we're both really strong, and sometimes I do not magic mirror. I throw the mirror. I mean, not literally.
No,
I don't like to break glass.
Phones. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, in our day, we've been married a long time.
Yeah.
We have not duked it out as far as leaving each other black and blue, but emotionally, we're a good match.
You bet.
And the thing I'm saying to couples is, we have this tool. I'm pointing at the wrong part of my body. We have this tool that we can opt. Glad you didn't say that.
That's true.
We have this tool that we can opt to use. We can pick up a weapon. I mean, we can pick up a weapon, which is anger and resentment and you messages. And we, you know, we're psychotherapists, so we can really crap on each other emotionally if we want to.
We know how to go for the throat if we need to. That doesn't
sound very professional, but we can.
Right.
Or we have the option, and that's what we try to teach people. You have the option of picking up a tool, and the tool of magic mirroring is simply this. Maybe my partner is not a complete asshole. Am I allowed to say that? Well, maybe my partner is a complete jerk. Okay. Bleep that out if you need to.
PG-13 will allow for that.
Maybe my partner is trying to say something that I could listen for the agreement in, not fix, analyze, or criticize what they're saying, but give them the right to finish their sentence. And imagine how it would feel if I were them.
Mm-hmm. It's all about empathy, folks. It's about, as you say, you know, walking in someone's moccasins, trying to get a sense of what they're feeling deep inside, trying to resonate with that person, and trying to, you know, give them the sense that you do understand, you do get the feeling. And I want to go back to the term resonate. You know, it's incredibly important when you and I are in that kind of dialogue that we have eye contact with each other. Eyes are the window to the soul, but
Jerry,
also the subconscious.
is that easy for you to do?
No, it's not, because your eyes sometimes can be real angry and glaring. Okay, and I want to look away and hide. Okay.
And sometimes you're an intuitive thinker. And intuitive thinkers, if you've watched that show, are emotionally introverted, and so they're keeping their thoughts to themselves, and they have a hard time making eye contact. So over the past 23 years, I've been torturing Jerry by saying, sweetie, honey, dear one, would you look at me? And,
oh yeah, sure.
And tell the men in the audience what that's done for you, honey bunch.
Well, when you listen to your wife, that naturally leads to sex. And I think the connection there is really important, because men need sex in order to feel loved, and women need intimacy in order to feel loved. And those two kind of round out the world.
I don't know what to say to that.
Okay.
You've left me at a loss. All this time I thought you were looking at me. Well, but it's okay. I mean,
it is okay. That's right. Although, and I'm being facetious, but I do enjoy the dialogue. You know, you're an interesting person with novel ideas and a quick wit and a good sense of humor. Okay, and so I do get caught up.
And I put on my makeup just for you. I'd like you to check me out once in a while.
And I do get caught up in the stories you tell, because you're a natural storyteller. And so you make things interesting and fascinating.
You come and you got a lot of repair work to do here, honey.
All righty. The key to mirroring now. We're gonna be looking at the 3 steps of mirroring in our second segment. But I want to emphasize that, because a lot of men might say, well, why should I listen to her? She's just stuck in her complaining. No, okay? These are her feelings, okay? Your job is to mirror those feelings and help her talk into her pain, through her pain, and out of her pain, and into her own solution. Okay?
And it would be true for women too.
True.
To let him, okay, this is kind of how it is. If a baby has a boo-boo, like your kid, if you come running over to them and say, why did you fall down? And you better get up, and you shouldn't ride your bike around the corner anymore. That kid's gonna go wah, wah, wah. You're gonna go louder,
right.
wah, wah. That's just like it is with your partner. If your partner's fallen down emotionally on the sidewalk and they have a big boo-boo, you can come over and say, I bet that really hurt. And I bet, it's bleeding and you must feel really bad. And of course, they shouldn't have ridden their bicycle so fast, or they shouldn't have said that to their boss, or whatever. But you spare that comment because they're hurting emotionally, they're bleeding, and they need you to address the owie. It looks like it really hurts, and it sounds like you need an emotional Band-Aid. And I am that. I know I'm listening in. You said that really hurts, and it really sucks, and it really stinks, and it hurts, and you're feeling alone in the world, and I get that. And then what happens? You may have noticed this with little kids. They kind of, and they look at you like, you get it. It really, really hurts. And they're much more likely to allow you, or to accept treatment at that point, to get up and get back on their bike and ride away. And that's what emotional clearing is. When we feel heard, when I actually break through my ego and can listen to Jerry. Do we have enough time here? Or Jerry, okay. And Jerry can listen to me and care about what I'm saying. I think our cameraman is lurking back and forth, and Jerry's eyes are following Lorraine back there, who's needing to go from screen to screen. You guys don't know what it's like to do a TV show. It's really interesting.
It's fun.
Okay, so here we are.
We have a great crew.
We do.
Hey, Ramon.
Fabulous. Come on, you guys. But when we have to, what was I saying? What's the meaning of life? Not all there is.
All right.
But when we do that, the baby gets up, we get back
Yes.
on the bicycle, and men don't have to fix women so much. This is where John Gray was right. If a man can just say, that really hurt, or it must have felt really painful when I was staring at the television and not listening to you. When I got home late, I can appreciate how you feel. A woman kind of gets onto the next thing a lot of the time and says, yeah, it did, and but I love you, and I get how it's hard for you to get home early or whatever, and I know that was your favorite football game or whatever. She's more inclined, or he's more inclined, to get onto the next thing and not stay stuck.
And here's what happens to men instead. When the male hears the wife express all of her frustrations, it's not that he's cut off from his feelings and non-empathic. He probably feels them, and he doesn't know how to handle his own emotions. So he just wants her to stop. And unfortunately, this is what women complain about, the most, is that they're not heard, they're not listened to, he's not emotionally there. And so men, there's a real need for you to step up to the plate, feel her feelings, feel your own, and get involved in these 3 steps that we're going to explore, during our second segment. So once again, mirroring is magic if you take the risk, and mirroring is the other side of the communications coin. It's not just talking, it's listening. And mirroring your mate helps her feel her pain, talk through her pain, out of her pain, and into her own solutions.
Got it.
And you know what, Deb? We're going to be right back after this important message to talk about those 3 steps of mirroring.
How to do it.
There it is. We'll see you in a moment.
Okay.
I've been searching for someone who knows me, who can teach me the value of 2, who can get through the rough and just never give.
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for... Yes, I am. Yeah. Mr. Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up... No.
Dreams really do come true.
Hombre, dinero.
No.
Con cámaras.
No,
Yes,
Ed
con
McMahon,
cámaras.
see.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first
Ed
ever...
McMahon.
Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango dinero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right.
Larry, put some pants on.
I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
I've been searching for someone who knows me, who can teach me the value of two, who can get through the rough and just never give up.
Hi, I'm Jerry Meints. Okay.
I'm Deborah Meints, and welcome back to It's a Family Affair. Jerry's really losing it.
Okay.
He's
Well,
really losing it. He's going to have to redeem himself during this segment.
Well, we're really having some fun. We're talking about the magic of mirroring, and we had an opportunity during the first segment to talk about how
Why men only listen so they can have sex. I've been forgotten this one.
No,
Women all over America are wondering, is that why he's listening to me? Is that all he wants? I mean,
Well, it's not true, but that is John Gray's argument. Okay,
all the guys in the back said, yeah.
That basically.
So when does John Gray become the national spokesperson?
Well, if we're going to tear him
him
down, we got to give him a little credit here. Okay, and that is his argument really is simple, and that is that men don't feel really loved unless they're getting sex. For them, that tells them the relationship is happy and healthy. Women don't feel loved unless their husband is listening to them in an active way, is making them feel, cared about and important in conversation, because conversation is significant for women.
Okay, we'll see how many calls we get on this subject, because I'm still doing my research on
We're going to be voting, okay? You're going to be voting for talking or sex.
Yeah, because
okay?
I'm just saying something like, during times of my life where I was not capable of having sex because I was like way pregnant and stuff, you still listened to me. So what was in it for you, buddy?
Well, as I said before, you're a fascinating storyteller, an interesting conversationalist, a quick wit.
And I've had the plague for 3 weeks, and you've listened to me.
Absolutely.
So what was in it for you? I mean,
all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just another element here. And sometimes for men who are by nature more like driving down the road, trying to loosen their load, got 7 women on their mind.
Okay.
Anyway, when men stay on a tangent, and the purpose of the feminine in their life, why men like the gals, is because we, in our own way, think outside the box.
Yeah.
And we introduce ideas to men that make them think. I mean, come on, who's going to therapy in droves? Who's reading all these self-help books? Who's going to church?
It's women.
It's basically us women, because we, by our nature, are more spiritual, creative thinkers. We sometimes get a little hysterical and a little out there, and we like the man's ability to get us back in the zone. So we do this cat and mouse game in the yin yang of relationship.
And the coolest thing about it is that, therefore women civilize men. And that's an extremely important part of their relationship. Because left on their own, we men are Neanderthals, and the probability that things would be difficult, life is short, nasty, and brutish is very high.
Let's have war, make big bombs.
That's right. That's right. Big bombs, war.
Yeah, I can't think outside the box. And so with women, ideally, a man marries a woman so he can learn about a part of himself that's otherwise hidden. And that's his creative energy, his sympathetic energy, his compassionate energy, and his ability to be like a little more like girls want to have fun, be a little less serious and do lunch.
And for Jung, that would be the male getting in touch with his feminine side. And of course, he's repressed that, he's disowned that, because in our homophobic culture, men are not supposed to be sissy or feel or weak or caring.
I was sitting outside the gym the other day where I was waiting for my daughter to get out of a class, and all these guys kept coming out, and the way they insult each other is, "You're such a girl." I mean, and they're these big muscle creatine creatures, and they're just, they're so offensive. They're just going, "Don't be a girl. Don't be a woman." I mean, is that the worst insult you can hurl?
It is
I guess
sexist.
it is. To be a girl is the worst insult you can
Well, let's
hurl.
go back to bodybuilding
scared of it.
as probably the best example of what we talked about in our show last week is narcissism. People that are obsessed with their body and therefore their physical armor, very often are compensating for how, insecure they feel inside.
And these are the same guys that collect the babes, and I mean collect, and imprison them and become these insanely jealous men, because essentially they're denying their own creative, think outside the box, loosen up, don't be so afraid of your emotions. And so they hire a woman to do it, and then they're afraid she's going to leave, so they become insanely jealous beasts. And of course, women eventually do leave if the guys don't kill them.
Right.
And that's like the worst extreme archetype. So I'm praying for men out there, you know. I'm not asking you to wear a dress, unless that's what you like to do. And I'm not asking you to cry in like Julia Roberts films or whatever. I'm not asking you to want to go to all the weepy girl films. I'm saying that when you learn to listen like a friend, and when you learn to explore your own pain in life, having to get up every day and do it for the man, again and again and again, and come home and have your beer and watch TV. Maybe like Jackson Brown, you're struggling for the legal tender, and there's a certain pathos in your life, and with the woman in your life, you can learn a little bit about growing spiritually and emotionally, and maybe like my 12-step friends, learning to turn it over. And for those of you who don't get what turning it over is, it's when you've met the wall of your own achievements and abilities and it ain't enough, and you're asking a big question. You're saying, I need more information that I got, and I'm humble enough to get it from a woman or from another teacher. I'm humble enough to say I don't know.
There it is. And Deb, for those men out there, I want you to follow these 3 basic steps of mirroring, because, you know, as men, we're tool guys, okay? And if we can learn a very simple tool, you know, we can make changes. And what we need, of course, is the right tool for the right job. And here we go. This is mirroring. Number 1, mirror emotional pain with an I message. And that sounds like, wow, Deb, I'm hearing some frustration with men out there. I'm hearing some disappointment with those creatine Neanderthal men you saw outside the gym. I'm hearing some real compassion for the women that they entrap.
And also, I'm feeling bad for men. I'm feeling sorry for men because they seem so trapped, some men, in their roles, just like women, like on that Bachelorette show. Like they just are going back to this like June Cleaver 1950s stuff. I'm sad in our culture. So you're getting more information out of me, folks. And Jerry's, because he's active listening. I'm not just mad at men. I'm kind of sad when I look at the media and I see women falling back into these roles of being ultra feminine to the point where they don't have their own moxie, their own energy, their little Gloria Steinem kick you in the ass, I'm going to make my life work energy. And I don't need a man necessarily, but he'd be a great companion.
If he can measure up.
If he can measure up. Are you strong enough to be my man?
So some of that sadness that I'm hearing and some disappointment in the lack of rising to the occasion that a lot of people do, you know, creates some frustration for you. And that's step 2. Is that right, babe?
It's right, and I also think underneath it all, I have a lot of grief because I'm looking at how our world is right now, and I'm wondering, when are we going to grow up? Are we going to run out of time? You know, are we going to blow each other up? Are we not going to care about Mother Earth? I have kind of a global grief that comes out on this microcosm when I see us as a culture reverting to old stereotypes. I'm a child of the 60s and 70s, and I saw us as a culture being able to say, we want to live in peace, we want to grow emotionally, we want to, you know, come on people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. That may sound real idealistic to everybody, but it's a goal of trying to find understanding with one another instead of being so polarized. I mean, even our political parties seem so polarized. So you're hearing a lot more. It's not just about the guys at the gym.
And so some of that sadness and fear that I hear is, you know, real for you.
And longing.
Now, let's recap. First 2 steps. Mirror the emotional pain with an I message. You just heard some of that. And then check accuracy. You can do that by saying, is that right? Or you can mirror by phrasing it as a question. Am I hearing anger there, Deb? And you're going to get an affirmation or a disagreement and a clarification. Now, the most important and the most difficult step to follow out of the 3 steps of mirroring is this one. Avoid analysis, advice, debate, or fixing. And you know, the analogy that we use when we talk about mirroring, magic mirroring, is The Exorcist. And the little girl spins her head around 360 degrees, and projectile vomits out all this green pea soup, all this pain and anger and frustration and resentment. And the listener's job is to get out of the way, let it hit the wall, slide down to the baseboard, and then mirror it. Instead, most men, because with our tool fix-it mentality, you know, kind of way of looking at the world, we want to fix it or debate, and so instead of, wow, I'm hearing anger and frustration, it sounds like, well, you shouldn't feel that way, you know. Well, you look great. Don't put yourself down.
Or I think.
Yeah, don't be silly. You should do this, and then it would change. And if you only handled the kids this way, they wouldn't be
Or you
complaining.
could have taken it personally when I was talking about men. You could have taken it like, why are you criticizing me?
Right, and I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I realized I don't want to shove that projectile vomit back down your throat. Okay?
Thanks, Chair.
I want to let you get clear of that pain. And I also want to realize this, men. It's not my pain, it's her pain. And because we are fairly healthy, we are individuated, so she can be real upset, and I can mirror her upsetness, but I don't have to take it on. It's not mine, it's hers. And so when we talked about last week individuation is so important. It shows up in your marriage because if you don't have it, you're enmeshed and you're codependent, and you can't stand your wife being upset because it makes you upset because you can't separate her from you.
Got it.
And that's where you're going to need some work. Now, I just want to, in the last couple of moments that we have, indicate that as we mirror our mate, we help them talk down into their underbelly. They may start out as angry.
In their head.
Right. But as we listen to that anger and mirror that anger, we get a chance to realize that always underneath anger is fear or hurt or shame. And once we mirror that, we create clearing. And that ultimately, Deb, is where we want to be, emotionally clear with each other.
Got it.
I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm Jerry Meints.
And I'm Deborah Meints, and I'm feeling a lot better about him now. And
Cool.
It's been a family affair.
I've been searching for someone like you. I've been searching for someone to sing to, who can feel all the notes in my soul, who can learn, who can bend, who can love like a friend. I've been searching for someone I know. I've been searching for someone